In today's video, we're going to test various objects from the medieval era. We'll have a Bardiche, a Halberd, a Longsword itself, and a Greek Falcata. And for us to test all these weapons, we'll have several objects that I prepared here in the video, including the medieval shield itself. We have a medieval shield here to carry out the tests with all these weapons and see if it could withstand them, if it really protected the person holding it, or is it a myth? And the one who brought all these weapons here was the medieval knight himself from last time. The video turned out really cool, and you guys asked us to make a part 2. Will the shield withstand all these weapons?
The shield actually was meant to be disposable, right? It was meant to take the damage for you, so you wouldn't break a bone, but break the shield instead.
Yes, and even judging by its weight, it's really light. We can see that a little piece is already broken here, but look, it's made of wood, so it's really light, and I think that's so you can have good mobility, right? So you can carry it without getting tired. And then, as a last resort,
you even cover yourself underneath it. It's even hard to tell where Gabriel's head is and where his arm is. It hides him, right?
Then I just do this here. I want to test the power of the weapons first, so we can test the shield afterwards.
It's worth mentioning, guys, that this shield here isn't from my team, okay? It's from these guys here, Compania Vermelha. They lent us this shield because it's no longer being used in fights, because it has this broken part here on the edge. But for testing purposes, it's still perfect.
Let's start the test with a Falcata. Take a look at this beautiful piece we're starting with. Its handle is very comfortable, and it also has protection for your hand, a unique guard. Its blade is curved in a different way. It's kind of curved forward, gets a bit wider at the front, then tapers and becomes thin. I'm curious to see the result of destroying these two little water bottles here. 1, 2, 3, and... Nothing happened to this bottle, it just flew from the impact. But this one, the blade hit right in the middle here and created such strong pressure on the bottle that it burst at the bottom. Its base exploded, it broke apart. I'll do one more now and close the bottle like this, see? All the impact I felt was from the metal hitting the wood. This felt like a feather between the two. It was a really clean hit. It's really interesting to test this weapon here. This thing is a beast, you know? It's the first time I've tested a Falcata and I just loved its performance. Now it's time for the medieval sword. And since this one has a really sharp tip, a really thin tip, I put a little water bottle here. Let's just make a small cut in it, a little hole so you can get a sense of this sword's power. And then we'll move on to a slightly better test. Check this out just to start. It's not even fair. I missed. Man, this is really brutal. Let's get something more interesting because this sword here deserves a top-notch visual effect.
Of course I'll get it for you, my friend.
Since this bottle of Coca-Cola is definitely going to explode, we're going to test two things, the sword and the shield as well. 2, 3, and... It didn't work with a hit, let's try a thrust. It didn't fly. I thought it was supposed to explode everywhere. I didn't like it, but we're going to have to do it again. I wasn't satisfied with the first test, so let's try again with the bottle, this time in a different way. 2, 3, and... This time, the tip of the bottle was stuck here, so it created much more resistance, and when we cut it, it tore all the way through. Here, all the way through, especially with the internal pressure from the gas, which also helped to destroy it. Everything exploded. That scene was amazing, with liquid flying everywhere. Now yes, I'm satisfied. Now I feel like testing the Halberd, and it's this one right here. And the cool thing is that this weapon has a different history, right? How does each part work here? Because it looks like an axe, sledgehammer, and sword combined.
Yeah, since the weapon is heavy, it's always going to be a blunt weapon, cutting and blunt. The piercing part is like a spear, and here it's like a sledgehammer with a point, so it smashes things up.
This here was for...
to break the armor and hurt the guy inside, right?
And this here is rough. Like, it's solid metal with 4 points here. This part is also really sharp, and this tip here is insane. This was one of the most brutal weapons of the time.
Ah, yes.
This time the target will be a watermelon. Let's test the 3 parts of this weapon, starting with the spike, which won't have any trouble at all. Look, it goes in like it's paper, from top to bottom, see? So you can see it from the same angle you're watching. Look how easy it is. Now let's see the cut. I'm going to strike right in the middle here with the axe itself. 1, 2, 3, and...
This is just like in Fruit Ninja.
Wow, yes, exactly. This is so satisfying. Watermelon is one of the most enjoyable targets to test with weapons because it's soft and has a very interesting visual effect. And now it's time for us to test the third part, which is this one right here. It's the destruction part. Let's go. Wow. Man, look how cool that is. It makes a little square hole. Look here. It makes exactly the shape of this hammer-like part. It makes a square and crushes the rest. Well, the feast is served here. You can call the birds, it's on the table. Now it's time for the Bardiche, and we're going to test it on what's left of the watermelon before we start testing all these weapons on the shield. It's not even going to be fair, but look. Look what happens. It's time for us to start the tests on the shield, and I want to know if it's going to withstand all these medieval weapons or not. Let's start with the Falcata now, against the shield. We positioned it here, look, supported on these logs, and as I said, it's made of wood and has this protection here, which is a cloth covering, right? It has an interesting resistance, and now let's see if it will withstand all the weapons. I'm sure it'll withstand some of them. 2, 3, and... I'm going to pierce it now. Piercing it, it didn't go through, and the hit left a mark as well. At this intensity with this weapon here, the person behind the shield would have survived. So let's see. Look, now a real blow from a medieval knight.
Yeah, look, it hit.
The thing hit from the side, right? Look, it cut, made a gash here on the shield, but on the back, look on the back. It also made a little nick in the wood, but it didn't break. It was just some damage there. Yeah, I think now things went bad for the guy. Looking here, it wasn't the broken part since the damage was here. This part was intact. But it went through the leather, went through the wood, went through the front cloth. Here, yeah, look, this one wouldn't have held up, no.
Right in the guy's hand, right?
Yeah, well, stabbed by a medieval sword, the shield wouldn't hold up anymore. It's time for the Bardiche. I have a slight feeling now that it won't hold up because this Bardiche is really brutal. It has this huge metal part. And for sure, the force, the intensity with which the blow hits the shield will definitely destroy it. 1, 2, 3, and... I don't know if I hit it too softly or I'll hit it again. Well, it actually held up, huh? The back part, right here in the middle where it has this leather, probably gets a bit stiffer, right? It holds up a bit more. But the structure here, look, has several cracks in the wooden part, which we can notice. And here in the front, look, it got a pretty interesting dent. There were 2 hits here. This first one here and the other one was here. These were the 2 marks.
It's better against impact than piercing, right?
That's because with piercing, all the force of the blow is concentrated on a very specific point, right? But with the axe, it's not like that. The axe has this whole area, so it ends up distributing the force a bit and it resists a little more. But I think that if it held up against the Bardiche, with the Halberd, the game's over. First, let's test the thrust, which is interesting for us to try, just like we did with the sword, right? To see what happens. It stopped because it hit the torso, you can see that. Yeah, man, that would have been it for our friend there. He would have been done for. Now let's check out the other parts, the blade part. Let's go. But it actually held up, huh? Inside, a good part of the structure cracked. And here, look, it made quite a mark, just like the Bardiche did too. But now, guys, what's left is the roughest part, I believe, of this weapon here, which is this spiked hammer part. I think this is going to combine both the specific point where the blow will land, meaning all the force of the object will be concentrated on that specific spot, and it also has this hard, brutal force to it.
I think 2 little hits will break it.
Look, the tip even came out the other side here, see? 2, 3, 4, but do you know what happened? It got stuck right here in the trunk. Now I'm gonna try aiming right here in the middle. It'll probably even crack in half. One more. The shield bent to the other side here. Wow, guys, we managed to bend the shield. It was curved this way and we managed to bend it in the opposite direction. All the wood here in the middle, in the center, inside it also broke in half. Look, there are several splinters, and look here, the weapon got stuck in the shield. I think the person who would be behind there wouldn't have survived. Like Raul said, the shield was kind of disposable, right? So in battle, this one wouldn't be used anymore. If the person had survived, they'd have to get another one, and this one would just become a story to tell. But it was interesting. Against all the weapons, the shield held up to a point, but not that much. Raul, thank you so much for bringing all this history, this medieval setup, supplying everything we needed to conduct these tests.
It was a pleasure, man.
Thank you so much, and the test turned out really interesting. Let us know in the comments which test was your favorite and which weapon you thought was the most badass. If you want us to make more medieval videos, just check out his channel. There are a lot of other things we can do there. Leave a comment down here and we'll come back and make those videos you guys would like us to do. Take a look at his channel. He does a lot of things related to the medieval world. There's some really cool stuff. The link is here in the description. Man, once again, thank you very much.
Anytime.
And see you in the next video. Thanks, see you. Much love, bye.